Welcome to episode 28 of the Perrysburg Podcast. I'm your host and Perrysburg resident, Kim Newlove. This is the last episode in a three-part series about planes, trains, and automobiles. Part 1 was about airports, Part 2 last week was about trains, and Part 3 today is about automobiles. This will be the longest episode of the 3 in this series. If you're new to this podcast, welcome. The Perrysburg Podcast is an informational podcast for prospective, new, and current Perrysburg, Ohio residents. We talk about what's in Perrysburg and why people like to live here. You can find the show notes for this episode on perrysburgpodcast.com. This is episode 28. I have 20 topics in this episode. That is a lot. I'll list everything first in a somewhat alphabetical order, and then I'll expand on each topic. The list of topics includes number 1, the Auto Mall and other automobile dealerships in Perrysburg. Number 2, buses. Number 3, campers. Number 4, car repair shops. Number 5, car shows. Number 6, car washes. Number 7, driver's education. Number 8 is electric vehicle chargers, otherwise known as EV chargers. Number 9 is garbage trucks. Number 10 is golf carts. Number 11 is highways. Number 12 is moving trucks or moving truck companies. Number 13 is noise, one of my pet peeves, noise and loud stereos. Number 14 is parking lots. Number 15 is parking meters. Number 16 is rental cars. Number 17 is snowplows, both in the city and the township. Number 18 is speed traps. Number 19 is taxis and the like. And finally, number 20 is trucking schools. Just a tiny list, right? Just 20 items. All right, next up, I'll say a little something about each of those 20 topics. And as I do, please keep in mind that I am just a Perrysburg resident, and this podcast is not sponsored by anyone mentioned in this episode. If I sound biased at all, it is because of my personal experiences as a resident. As we get started, I want to acknowledge that Google, of course, is a great resource for many of the topics in this episode, like buying a car or getting a map from here to there. But as a local, I can provide you with some insights that Google can't. Let's get started with the Auto Mall. The Perrysburg Auto Mall is located on North Dixie Highway. To learn more, visit perrysburgautomall.com. New and pre-owned vehicles are sold and serviced there. You'll find Buick, Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, GMC, Jeep, Volkswagen, Volvo, and more. The Perrysburg Auto Mall is not the only place to buy a new or used automobile in Perrysburg. We also have Taylor Hyundai on Eckel Junction Road near Mercy Perrysburg Hospital. My husband bought a brand new Hyundai Santa Fe there about 3 years ago, and he's very happy with it. He bought it there and he has it serviced there. What is the most popular car in Perrysburg? I bet you don't know this. And I don't either. I have no idea. But anyone who's looking to move here from far out of town might assume that we all drive Jeeps because we're so close to Toledo, and Toledo is associated with Jeep. Some people say it's the home of Jeep, but it is certainly the home of an assembly plant or two of Jeep. But no, we're not all driving Jeeps here in Perrysburg. There are a lot of families in Perrysburg, so what you're going to see is a mix of family cars. We have full-sized sedans, minivans, SUVs, and pretty much everything. You'll even see an occasional Maserati. I saw a Lotus once. I've seen a Porsche or two. I saw a Lamborghini, and once I saw a Ferrari. There's definitely a variety here, but there are definitely more family cars than Maseratis here. On the topic of automobile sales, I just need to give a quick shout out to the 2 semi-truck dealerships here in Perrysburg. We have both a Whiteford Kenworth dealer and a Peterbilt dealer, right here in Perrysburg, not even a mile apart from each other on Eckel Junction Road. As far as other automobiles, I'm not going to stretch it too far. I'm leaving tractors and heavy equipment dealerships out. Sorry, but I had to draw the line somewhere. That does it for the auto mall and other automobile dealers in Perrysburg. Let's move on to buses. Unfortunately, we don't have a public bus system here in Perrysburg. However, we do have something called Perrysburg Transit. According to the City of Perrysburg's website, Perrysburg Transit, and I quote, provides door-to-door transportation services for citizens who need a ride to their medical appointments, work, shopping trips, and much more within the City of Perrysburg. For passengers who use the Toledo Area Regional Transit Authority, otherwise known as TARTA, Perrysburg Transit vehicles also have 2 connecting points at the Meyer in Rossford and the City of Maumee Municipal Building. All vehicles are equipped with wheelchair ramps and other accommodations for passengers with disabilities. Service animals are permitted on Perrysburg Transit vehicles. If you have a special need, please inform the dispatcher to ensure the appropriate accommodations are provided. End quote. To learn more, visit the City of Perrysburg's website. I hope to team up with Marie Dunn, the City of Perrysburg's Public Information Officer, about Perrysburg Transit later in the year 2024. As I publish this, it is January 2024. The year's just getting started, so I will reach out to her soon. How about the schools? Do the schools have buses? You betcha. Perrysburg Public Schools provides bus transportation for students except for those within walking distance. As far as I know, the local Catholic school, St. Rose, buses their students too. My younger son, Derek, went to kindergarten at St. Rose, and they definitely had a bus. As for school buses for Perrysburg residents attending Catholic high schools in Toledo, check with Perrysburg Schools. I have no personal experience with that. That does it for buses. Campers are next. Camping World is right next to Bass Pro. Bass Pro can be seen from I-75 between exits 193 and 195. I have not been inside Camping World yet, but I know that they sell RVs and campers. Car repair shops are next. Car dealerships in town can service your car. In fact, my husband uses the Hyundai dealership to service his Hyundai Santa Fe, but there are also some independent shops in town too, like Steve's Family Auto Service on Eckel Road. I've never used Steve's shop, but if you live in town and you get the Valpak coupons, you've probably seen Steve's ad. The car show is next on my list. Each Friday night from May through October, hundreds of cars and thousands of visitors come to Perrysburg for the car show. The car show is organized by Rick and Dana Ruffner, owners of the O-Deere Diner. The O-Deere Diner is located at 416 Louisiana Avenue. It's just across the street from the Commodore Schoolyard, which is where the car show is located. Episode 9 of the Perrysburg Podcast was all about the car show. To see pictures from past shows, look at the O-Deere Diner's Facebook page. I'll have links to all of that in the show notes for episode 28 of the Perrysburg Podcast. Just go to perrysburgpodcast.com. Let's move on to car washes. Perrysburg has a number of car washes. I'll just mention the three that I use, and then we'll move on. My favorite is the Ultra Car Wash on Eckel Junction Road near the Gymnastics Center. They do a great job, and it seems like just about every weekend in the good weather months, they're always teaming up with groups around town for fundraisers. You'll see children jumping up and down, or young people anyways, jumping up and down with signs and waving at the cars, trying to get you to honk or come in and get your car washed. One other thing I'll say about the Ultra Car Wash is that they typically employ teenagers. So if you are the tipping type of an individual, bring an extra $1 or $2. Teenagers appreciate tips. The second car wash I'm going to mention is at Walt Churchill's Market on North Dixie Highway. If you're a local, you're probably thinking, Kim, there's no car wash there. But what I'm talking about is Walt Churchill's Market on North Dixie Highway typically sponsors weekend car washes for Perrysburg area groups. When I say Perrysburg area groups, it could be anything from the baton twirlers to a baseball team. They're wonderful. Walt Churchill's Market allows these groups to come in, use the water, use the space, and earn donations. So if you see one of these pop-up weekend car washes, bring a $20 bill. These kids work hard for your donations and they do a great job. The third and final car wash that I'll mention is the do-it-yourself car wash at the corner of West Boundary and Eckel Road. It's right across the street from Twisty Treat. Nifty Car Wash is the name. Last I saw, it had a for sale sign in front of it in the fall, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure what it's going to be called in the spring here in 2024, but that is for sure my favorite do-it-yourself car wash. There's a lot of car washes in Perrysburg, but again, those are my 3 favorites. Next up is driver's ed. Driver education for teenagers is what we're talking about. My younger son, Derek, who is now 18, went through all-star driver education, and he did that during the pandemic. He had a good experience. I bet it's even easier now that there's no mask required. When I was a student at Eastwood High School in Pemberville in the 1990s, I went through driver's ed through Master Driving School in Bowling Green. I believe that Master Driving School is still in business, both in Bowling Green and Sylvania. Google's your friend. Check that out if you need to find more driving schools in Perrysburg. The next 3 items on my list are pretty quick. They are electric vehicle chargers, garbage trucks, and golf carts. Let's go with the electric vehicle chargers first. Some people call these EV chargers. I do not have an electric vehicle, but my friend Greg does. Because my friend has one, I keep an eye out for electric vehicle chargers. I have lived in Perrysburg for 17 years, and I had to Google where the chargers are because I have never seen an electric vehicle charger in the burg. I found one behind Claude's at Levis Commons, and I honestly would not have known it was there unless I had Googled it. If you need an electric vehicle charger in Perrysburg, I recommend you Google it. If you are going to Maumee, however, and you need an electric vehicle charger, the Meyer parking lot in Maumee has them. Again, if you need an electric vehicle charger in Perrysburg, Google it. Moving on, I'll be quick about talking about garbage trucks. We have 4 kinds of garbage trucks in the city. We have straight-up garbage trucks for general refuse, the stuff that goes to the landfill. We have a recycling truck. There is a yard waste truck. They pick up the brown bags that have yard waste in it. And then we have a large item truck. If you're new to town and you don't know when garbage day is, just ask your neighbors. And thank you, by the way, to all the sanitation workers in Perrysburg, both the city and the township. We appreciate you. Now for golf carts. Welch's golf cart business is on Route 20 on the east side of town near Dream Park Baseball Diamond and Crosswinds Golf Course. Golf carts can be street legal if they pass certain criteria. To learn more about that, visit the Wood County Sheriff's website. We're in the middle of my list now, by the way, and we're on the topic of highways. We have a number of major roads here in Perrysburg, and we call a lot of them just by their numbers. Some examples are 75, 475, 20, 25, 795, and 65. Even though we should be calling them State Route 795 or U.S. Route 20 or Interstate 75 or I-475, we locals just use the numbers. However, the Ohio Turnpike, which is I-8090, is just the Turnpike to me. I don't even use the numbers. I don't know anybody else that calls it I-8090 except for maybe the news channels. So just call it the Turnpike. Next up is moving trucks. If you need a moving truck and choose the do-it-yourself route, maybe your high school grad is moving far away to college or something, we have Penske and U-Haul here. If you need more do-it-yourself companies, lean into Google. If you want to hire a company, Perrysburg Moving and Hauling is my go-to. I've hired them even though I live in town and I haven't moved in 17 years. I have hired them to move my furniture during a remodeling project. Worth every penny, saved my back. Next up is my pet peeve, noise. I'm in the audio production industry as not just a podcast host, but also a medical narrator. I hate noise. I like quiet cars. But there is this trend, maybe it's in Northwest Ohio, maybe it's across America, I'm not sure, but the trend is to have noisy cars and loud music. Young people, I'm talking to you. I might just be getting old, but that crap bothers me, and I have a podcast, so I'm going to say something. Put your mufflers back on your cars, kids, and turn your music down. You're not impressing anyone, especially not me. The next two items on my list are closely related. They are parking lots and parking meters. There are many, many, many free parking lots all around the city of Perrysburg. Just avoid the spaces that are reserved for businesses, building residents, apartment dwellers, and the disabled, unless you have a placard, of course. As for parking meters, I've never seen a single one in Perrysburg. I can't think of anywhere that you need to pay for parking in Perrysburg. As for rental cars, Perrysburg has an Enterprise Rent-A-Car on Eckel Junction Road. I've never noticed any other car rental places in the burg. Snowplows are next. The city of Perrysburg and Perrysburg Township both have snowplows. If you're moving here from a warmer climate, please be advised that it takes a while to clear the roads, but it'll get done. And we use salt on our roads to keep the snow and the ice melted, so be advised it's wise to wash your car a few times a year and get all that salt off. Thank you, by the way, to all the snowplow crews who keep our roads safe and clear. We appreciate you. Speed traps are next. I'm sure that every Perrysburg resident or Perrysburg Township resident could weigh in on where they frequently see the police settle in to watch for speeders, but I'll just tell you the one place that I see them most in the city of Perrysburg. It's on Indiana Avenue between Walnut and Cherry. Walnut Street, of course, is where the police station is for the city of Perrysburg, and Cherry Street is just a little bit west of there, just like a block or two. I see the police watching for speeders right there. Just so you know, slow down, set your cruise control. There's a hill right there. I'm sure that many a person has gotten a speeding ticket for going down the hill a little too fast. If you're in the area, be advised. Slow down. As for taxis, Uber, Lyft, and other paid drivers in the Perrysburg area, we've got a few choices. I'm going to spend a good minute on this item. If this does not apply to you, feel free to fast forward. We have Uber and Lyft in Perrysburg. According to both apps on my phone, expect to wait 15 to 20 minutes for a ride on a weekday around 10 a.m. Check your app for details and pricing. When I was a college student at the University of Toledo, I worked at Toledo Hospital. I was a pharmacy intern. If you're new to this show, I am a pharmacist by training. Back to my internship in the 90s, we called black and white cab or checker cab as a courier service. They did a great job. They would take an item from Toledo Hospital to, for example, St. V's downtown. And later in life, when I was a pharmacist at Walgreens in the south end of Toledo, we came across a lot of cabs who brought patients through our drive-through window. As far as I know, they did a great job, very professional. Black and white transportation out of Toledo, or black and white cab, you might know it as, is still in business. Their website even says that they now have an app for iOS and Android phones. Sounds kind of like Uber and Lyft, but honestly, I have never tried to hire them as a Perrysburg resident. Don't know what the app is like, but they're still out there. For other information about taxi cab companies, Google's your friend. As for local transit companies, I'm just going to mention two. First up is Spears Airport Transportation, that is operated by Tim and Julie Spears. Their business offers rides to Detroit Metro and Cleveland Hopkins airports. Check with them for cost. I have never used them, but I will put a link to their website in the show notes on perrysburgpodcast.com. The second local transit company is First Class Transit. First Class Transit offers rides to Toledo Express or Detroit Metro Airport. In hindsight, I should have mentioned those two during the first episode in this series, which was about airports. Well, now you know. It's good info. Both websites are in the show notes on perrysburgpodcast.com. This is episode 28. One last thing I'll mention about local rides is the AAA Tipsy Tow for impaired drivers. This is also known as Tow to Go. You'll have to check to see if this is available in our area. I'm sorry I did not do the research for you. If this is available, AAA can tow AAA members, or give them a ride. This is if you're too drunk to drive. According to an online article published by AAA Living, Ohio unfortunately does not appear to be in the service area for this Tipsy Tow service. I'm a AAA member and I've never used the Tipsy Tow, but if I got desperate, I would certainly call and try. I'm not sure if they offer this in Perrysburg. Again, I only know about it from this AAA article. The last thing on my list is trucking schools. Trainco and Owens Community College both offer CDL training. The demand for truck drivers in Northwest Ohio is high. Perrysburg is located where I-75 and I-8090, aka the Ohio Turnpike, meet. So it's right where 75 and the Turnpike meet. Around Perrysburg, you will see lots of UPS trucks, FedEx trucks, Walgreens trucks, Home Depot trucks, and Amazon trucks. There are a lot of trucks that run through Perrysburg. If you are looking to move here and you're a truck driver or interested in becoming one, you picked the right town. That does it for my list of 20 automobile-related topics. If you're a prospective, new, or current Perrysburg, Ohio resident, I hope this information about automobiles in and around Perrysburg helps. If you're a motorcyclist or an ATV enthusiast, hang in there. I'll have an episode about motorcycles and all the like in the spring. I am a motorcyclist myself. I have a BMW C400X. That is a scooter technically, but that's bike number 5 for me. I love it. It gets me around town, and I am chomping at the bit to talk about bikes. Stay tuned for more about motorbikes and ATVs in the spring. That does it for today. Thank you for listening to episode 28 of the Perrysburg Podcast. Please visit perrysburgpodcast.com to read the show notes. In the show notes, you'll find lots of links. From the Perrysburg Auto Mall to Welch's golf carts on Route 20 to Trainco and more. Everything you need is on perrysburgpodcast.com. If you know someone who might like this episode, please share it with them. And if you like this podcast, please subscribe to or follow the Perrysburg Podcast on your favorite podcast player and YouTube to get each new episode right when it comes out. Thanks again for listening today. I'll talk to you next Friday.